get the sound on.
Tell me when you're ready, please.
And we're now live on live stream.
The Ministry of Energy
So this is
in
the
Ghana cannot get in touch with us.
69th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And this Thursday, July 9th, 2015. And let's go to Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute and see what Mr. Keshe has lined up for today. And I'm sure we'll have some other knowledge seekers that'll have things to say as well. Okay, Mr. Keshe, are you there?
Whenever you're ready.
Ready to go. Okay, go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
Yeah, why not? Come, we need the energy. We are making toast and he chickened out. You should smell it here. We're going to make a camera which transfers the smell to with the guns. This is a toaster, so Marco has the sandwich, but he's so stingy he doesn't want to share it. He says, not yet, not yet. Lunchtime, no problem. Lunchtime, we have a bigger toaster across the street. Are we ready to go? Oh, so people know what's happening here. Okay. We want to introduce Rick that we can go. It's amazing. You listen to all the chit chats before. We got to watch what you talk about. Okay. Yes, good morning. We got too busy with the toast, we forgot about it. Good morning, good afternoon, good day to you, wherever you are. This is, I don't know, number 60-something.
69.
Pardon?
69.
69, a good number. So we start today as usual. As you know, last Thursday we had a lot of voice back. I hear a lot of echo back. We had Alex with us. He showed us how to make the systems and he developed it further. We set the system up with him in a very simple way here, and we used one of the systems he brought with him from England, and we connected it to 2 fans, and then yesterday we added what do you call it, a LED light. We took it off last night, we put it back on again this morning. Which shows actually, this is the light which is getting produced. You have to bear with me for a while. People have to see the light. You want blinders? I get you blinders. So this is going on in the background. And this morning, our Italian delegation brought us a toaster, making sandwiches, and this is going on at the same time. So we don't know if it's going to burn out or not, but that's his problem. His sandwich is not made. But I'll put this one here that we don't lose this light. So what is happening? What is happening? We are producing a combination of powers from the source. Last week when we started, the meter was 0. And if I can go back this way, in the past week, with whatever we have with the power supply, everything you see here supplied is through this socket. And we have taken from the grid, I'm getting blind, 3.6 kilowatts of energy, kilowatt hour of energy in 1 week. And we have put into the grid, if I'm correct, 17.3. So that's 3.2, am I correct? Is that 3.2? So what we've done in a week with just 2 fans, we haven't added anything more or less to it. We've done 3.2 kilowatt hour of energy we have taken, and we have put 17.2 kilowatts of energy back in the grid. That's what we consumed from the grid. That's what we put into the grid. So if you do your mathematics right, it's about 14 kilowatt hours of energy has been put in the Italian grid by just running 2 fans, more or less. So what we've done, if you go by the cost of it, that's total 14 kilowatt hour energy, which the Italian government didn't have to pay for fuel to import to put on. And it's totally, absolutely free. The beauty with this is what I explained yesterday to the knowledge seekers, because you have to see the potential of what it has done. The biggest dream of all the energy systems, all the world of energy has been to achieve 100 plus 1, which means if you put 100 kilowatts, you get 101 kilowatts, which that 1 kilowatt is the free energy, and then you achieve a lot of positive points for what is supposed to be a gain. What is interesting here is we have put nothing in except the plasma energy, and we have attained 17.2 plus 3.2 kilowatt plus any DC which we have used. What does this mean? Because of the structure of the material of the nano coating, anything DC you add to the circuit is not counted. So whatever you have DC, computer DC operating, anything which is a DC, which gets connected to the system does not count. So if you add all your computers DC and everything else here, it shows 0 on the meter, because all the meters at the present are geared up for an AC and not a DC. So in fact, if you look at the whole structure, you have not only produced 14 kilowatts hour of power, you can have unlimited DC, and at the same time, what you've done, you have literally used as much as you like at home. This changes the course of power generation around the world, totally. First of all, you have to understand why DC is free. Because we collect energy from plasma, plasma current is a DC. So we do not see it. The kilowatt hour added is what we see through the conversion of the plasma current into electron vibration. And as much as you like in the house is because you produce it at home, it's homegrown. It doesn't come from outside. So it means you do not need to worry about the whole structure, because what you use is yours. There are a number of things which is important. What's the problem? You don't have an interconnection. Oh, yeah, one of the gurus is short of power. So, what has happened is now, this has been the dream of world of energy, and tonight we go for the first time public with it. So, in so many ways, we had to have a week of proof here, but in so many ways, what is important, one of us here has calculated what has been the ratio of the power in the past week. Around about 5.2 5.4 to 1. It means for every watt of energy we taken from the grid, we have put 5.4 times more in. If you go by this and you go on your home meter today and look how much energy you used in the past, let's say, month. What is the average consumption of energy per month in a household? Fridge, freezers, television. What is your electricity bill in Italy? Excuse me, Italian delegation. What is your, how much do you pay electricity bill at home every month, every 2 months? Yeah. I know how much I used to pay in the Sensano. In the Sensano, we can show you bills. Our electricity bill for everything which we used to use was around about 2,000 euro per month. You are 3,000 a month. You pay 6,000 euro every quarter. Every 6,000 euro. In the, yes, Italy, he's got a lot of, he's got 2 women, 2 girls, and 1 wife. And they only do hair drying. All the time. You have never met them. The hair dryer all the time goes on. Full blast. 400 kilowatts. Oh, sorry, 400 watts. He's got a gorgeous family. It's just joking. So, in the Sensano, we used to pay around 2,000 euro per month for electricity. So, if you go divide it by, I'm lucky he's paying 3,000. He must be living, God knows, in a castle. We're going to, we transfer the foundation teaching to his house. There's no problem. I did it in the Sensano, you can do it here. So we said the cost of electricity is about 40 cents per, what do you call it, kilowatt hour. So it's about roughly 5,000 kilowatts. We have used something like 5,000, am I correct, kilowatt hour? So if we use 5,000 kilowatt hour, pardon? 500. You see, I don't, why? It's correct. If you have 5,000 multiplied by 0.4 is 2,000. The American, they don't know how to calculate. That's why they get it always wrong. They counted themselves as the richest nation in the world because they got it wrong. They're the poorest because they have more than anybody else. Don't laugh. If I tell you about the American situation, it's horrendous. How come the most bankrupt nation in the world be the richest? If I go to the bank and I say I owe 2 million and I worth 1 million, I'm bankrupt. Americans owe trillions and they have nothing, and they're still the richest nation in the world. Somehow the calculator, when it gets in Atlantic and Pacific, goes. So now we have 5,000 kilowatts. If we have 5,000 work on the ratio of 5.4, would the American delegation would like to tell us how much it will be? That's 27,200 kilowatt hour. That's a huge amount of energy. Correct? 5,000 by 5 is 25. 5,000 by 4 is 2. So I'm correct. I can't be right. Pardon? Listen, we go back to my school time. 5.5 by 5, 2, 27. Okay. 27,000. Good? You're happy? How can it be 17? My God. 20, pardon? 2, 27,000. It's correct. Yeah. Okay. Now, doesn't matter. That's 27,000 kilowatts. If you put this back in the house, and I use 2,000 euro of money, I make financial gain for the Italian government of 10,000 minimum profit in 1 month. Because the energy I produce, my neighbors don't need to pay for. The government doesn't need to produce. This is the small scale of what you've seen. We needed to show the proof of concept because 2 of these systems are running now in London. And there is 1 running here in Italy. Some people have already been busy. So if you look at it, with my bill in the Sensano, I would have made 10,000 euro per month. With his bill, is worse. He can make 15,000 euro per month from his home by just adding a little bit on it. Very good business. Can I have a shareholding, please? So as you look, these numbers add up, builds up. These numbers change the whole structure of the economy of a nation. And all it costs half an hour. And if you're lazy, you like to contribute to the development, you can buy it from Cash Foundation at 500 euro with all the tackles and everything else. Ours looks very good. It's very professional. So I have to advertise. Would you like some? No problem? Yeah. What? I was on Wikipedia. They removed me from Wikipedia. That's good. They removed it 4 times from Wikipedia. It means Obama has got a lot of say in Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a free encyclopedia. I know. I've been removed from Wikipedia so many times. So it means White House decides who's on Wikipedia. Have a look at the Facebook. Am I removed from the Facebook? Go on the Facebook and it's put my name, Mehran Tawakkoli Kesh. When they move me from Facebook, it means I'm important because I'm not supposed to be known. But if you go on the Wikipedia, on the Facebook, put my name, it says public figure. So as long as somebody thinks I'm public figure, it's dangerous. I'm still there. So they removed me from Wikipedia. It means Obama has been touched. Good morning, Your Excellency. I know you watch Your Highness every program. I wish you all the best in the Oval Office because your time is very limited. So now we see what we do. What we've done and what you produce is horrendous. If you look at the industries around this area, which they use 100,000 worth of electricity, they can supply all their workers with free energy of 500,000. This is the oil which you do not pay. This is the money you do not transfer for the hard work of a nation to outside the boundaries. This technology has changed the face of energy, and as we said, excuse me, cameraman, hello, bicycle. As you've seen, we have brought a bicycle. During the week here, this is an electric bike. They call it the Italian electric bike, and it's connected to electricity. You can plug it in. You can travel as much as you like, as far as you like. You don't need to recharge it because now we can build the system inside the system. In the coming weeks, we go to the manufacturers, given the power supply is in. When you get in, is on. When you get off, is off. So you can travel the whole world at 0 cost. The same position, because there is a car which is running now on this process. It's not a theory. Since March hasn't been fueled, you all heard from the man who used it. And we have electric current. The beauty of it is now you don't need to change anything. You just link your system into your ashtray, lighter, cigarette box. So now the people who don't smoke and wanted no cigarette lighter in their dashboard, now they're going to say, can you put it in, please? Because without it, you can't work. So what happens is that the whole structure, doesn't matter if you have a diesel, you have petrol, you have electric car, you plug it in, we might not even deliver the can because we have a reason for it. Very soon we explain. We deliver a full unit size. Then you can travel as much as you like. Fuel consumption goes more or less to nothing because you use the power to run your, pardon? The starter motor. The man from the Westinghouse knows. So what happens? You should have never told me you work for Westinghouse. Oh, that's bad. Now they take your name from Wikipedia. Westinghouse will not be there. So what happens is that we see the situation. I tell you something very interesting. If you were here for the opening, we had some commotion before a startup. We had to start the opening of the university an hour, half an hour late. There was a commotion going in the background. That was the decision. We see what we're going to do. And the people who received the call, they said, you know something? If the man from the White House calls the police in Trani to stop the opening of an institute, he's not a lollipops man seller. He's put his finger on somebody who's hurting. The police of Trani received a telephone call from the American embassy to stop the opening of an institute. Because we had the American colonel on the floor to give an opening, Mike Harris from America, we told him it's your choice. You come on, you give the opening, or whatever. And they said, we stand for freedom, we give the talk. That's the problem of the White House. We went ahead with it. So when you see the decision, the way it comes, how they put pressure, thanks to Conor Hankey, we're getting a lot of things done around the world through Brad and others, because we don't stand nonsense. These are the people who change the course. So what happened? We went with the opening, and that's why you get the knowledge. There are people who stand for principle, and as I said yesterday, they use media to create war. Now they wipe me off the Wikipedia. My name will last forever because I changed the course of humanity. President Obama will not be remembered, even as the first black president, because United States will not exist. There will be one man, one nation, one planet. So we don't count where we came from. And that's what it is. When you see they remove you from places, it means you have touched the nerve of somebody. DHL didn't like for us to show how they steal goods, damage goods, as we saw in our service yesterday. So you got to understand why they are worried. The reason comes home very rapid. Italian government, now most of you Italians know how to make this little simple thing. You don't need to import a single drop of oil from anywhere. Look at the import oil for fuel. How many billions you pay to central banks? Look at the import and energy production. It is horrendous. The problem is not nuclear, is not oil, is not hydraulic, is not a fan, what I call turbine running. Now it touches everybody. And if you look at the structure, if let's say in Trani, in this area, south of Italy, we use €1 billion of energy a year, which is not much. In fact, if we transfer the energy production here, we put 5 billion back in the wealth of a nation by powering the rest of Italy. But the thing is, the money stays in Italy. It's not the money, it's the strength of the financial production that stays in Italy. There is a drain on every nation. This is a huge drain on any nation. You have to realize something very important. Every ton of oil produces around 45% fuel, what you use in your cars. If we get it right in the refineries, we come to 47%, depending on the light crude oil, heavy or whatever. So if you look at a ton of 45% and what is going through the financial process, which is not needed for what it sits here within the next 2 years, you can see there is a huge change of a structure. A nation like United States, which brings in billions of gallons or barrels of oil to support the industry, now can hold on to its wealth. A country like China, which is a main importer of fuel, can shelve it. Trillions will not move around. And the thing is, the cat is out of the bag. All of you know how to do it. All of you know how to develop it. So what it is, you were looking at peanuts. I have shown you the sack. The change is huge. Not only they wiped me off the Wikipedia, they wiped me off everything else for name not to exist. This was the promise of the King of Belgium when he was trying to kill me. We make sure Keshe Foundation will not be found anywhere on the internet. That was his promise. But he's a pedophile. He's killed so many people, he doesn't care. He likes killing children. 2 Arab children, age of 9, were killed 15 years ago while the king was raping them. They found the bodies, but they couldn't find who did it because everything was cleaned up. And the whole Belgium went finding the 2 dead bodies. They were in the palace hidden by the king. So now they call it the true affair. Read it. They wipe anybody who brings a new technology to change the course that they can stay in power. So wiping my name, poisoning me is irrelevant because now you see why. Now for the first time you understand the extent of what they knew and what is changed. The worst thing with it is, hold on 1 second. Aircraft industry uses fuel. Do we need to fuel any more aircraft? The cost of airline tickets from today goes like this. Because they charge you for the fuel. There is no more fuel cost. But the problem is, in the coming days, very shortly, not only we have shown the power, we show the first flight system. Fully controlled in every direction you want to fly. I sell you a ticket, Barry, New York, or if you want to go and see President Obama, for 20 minutes flight. Yeah, we're going home. I've got your Persian carpet in the back of the car. You got to fly with the carpet. Actually, I asked it to be washed at this clean. Yeah. I asked it to be, today is going for a wash. So now you see where the change comes. But the difference is not the jumbo jet to take you across. You fit the system in your car. Now, they said the guy talks fairy tale. You see in the power, you know the rest is true too. So let us put it this way. If I get killed, carry on with the process. There is a huge plan set up to assassinate me by accident in the coming days. We warn you to know. That's why I brought the teaching open so rapidly that you start communicating with each other. If I get assassinated, carry on with the work. Don't give up. It's thousands of you, and now you have both your freedom from the shackles of every activity. There are Scots ships from Belgium and United States to assassinate me. We know it. Our security people has warned us of the move. It goes back to the desk of President Obama. If anything happens to me, he has to pay for it. And the same. So now we know why. I'm not afraid of my life. They tried 4 times. This is the 5th time. So you know exactly what you have to do. The bead will change. Try to use the new structure of the plasma to change. Try to understand the work of the plasma to change. A man from Africa has shown us how the energy changes, and in a way, in a very simple way, is nothing but the African beads. You buy them on your hand, make it around your neck, you protect, you receive energy of all the food you need to do. There is no radioactivity, it's plain energy, your body takes what you need. If you know how to make these beads in the right formation, you don't need a cup. Carry it on your wrist, carry it on your neck, you are fed for life. No diseases, no hunger. Because it's a plasma. It's very much like this. It releases its energy in an environment, and your body next to it makes sure you transfer the maglev of your amino acid into the bead before you use it. Because then it tunes to your body. This is the whole concept behind it. In a way, when you wear it, you create a magnetic field around you that the rest of your body takes what it likes from the source. You've seen it here. You create a power, AC, DC. Because your body is plasmatic, it uses what it takes, what it needs, and no more. You will not go fat, but you'll never go hungry, you'll never go thirsty, you'll never have any diseases. Unless you create it psychologically for yourself. So now the problem is multiplying for multinationals. Supermarkets will have goods on the shelves nobody wants to buy anymore. They will give it away free. You solve the problem of energy, you solve the problem of, transportation. Now, you've seen the fuel. Actually, do you know what we're going to do? Those bits you're making in the lab, we have to make them to a bead to wear on the neck for the energy. So, if you understand it, you can balance your body if you make the right kind of bead. But I warn you, do not overdo it. Do not mix everything. Read very thoroughly what is the composition of the body of a man. And mix your gases in the right composition. There's no use putting plutonium when there is no plutonium. And if you need ratio of a 1% of, let's say, iron, and you put 2% in. Understand how you make the cocktail of life. Then your body receives what it needs at any time, because your blood is in motion and your lymph is in motion. So as they pass the bead, the same as they go through, food goes through your stomach or air goes through your lung, they take from it. You convert the physicality like plants into energy. So as your blood passes your skin, your wrist, your neck, like as it goes through your lung to energize the blood, it will energize the blood, energizes the lymph motion, and where they go is needed, it will be replaced. There is a scientific sound, scientific ground on what is said. So what you got to understand is how you feed yourself without depending on any food. when we teach these, as is going to be done in Africa and other nations around the world, you have a total free energy, total free food through the same process of the plasma, the working of the universe. In so many ways, you have to go to the point where you serve and not to be served, because you have enough time to do things positive for human race. You don't need to waste your time worrying where is the next electricity bill comes, when is the next food bill comes, can I pay for the fuel to get to work? These units, if you make one at home and tune it with the other, anywhere in this planet, you receive energy from your source. If you tune it the right way, that's why I said we might give you a big unit, you can receive food wherever you are. Because like the way you are connected to your mother through the umbilical cord, even after you are born, because you have a link and you still feel your mother, the new system is the same. It's magnetical. It reaches you anywhere in the universe. So now you know we taught you how to create gravitational magnetic field for motion in positioning. Now you understand how you use yourself the same way. Because once you stop settling, you go anywhere you like. If you look, this unit is on the floor, but it's still feeding everything else to feed the energy system. Your toaster is switched off, it's not making any more food. No, still a small toast. You must have the toast this morning before you come. Or the girls did. Because it smelled, it's gone now, it's still there. So, oh, we're getting used to smell. So now we are at 17.4 and 3.2. Every time you see a red flash, it means a current has flown, been demanded. So you see the two, one is 3, and the one above, this is how much we used, and 17 watt is what we have put back into the grid. So now you understand you have to scale it up, and then you see the number of damages you students have done. Enormous amount of good has been done. This unit on a table, what you see, takes the shackle of the abuse from the mankind. Because you don't have to understand to do. And if you understood how to make these beads, it's the same process that the life has started on this planet. It's no different. The ganses of different materials, you put liquid in it, you put a tissue. Tissue replicates a lake that can hold on to liquidity. We put caustic in it to create moisture. That represents the water in the lake. You confine it, you hold it, and then you put the plasma of gases, you give it life. So anywhere in the universe, you can create life. As in the teaching of yesterday, I warned you to warn your nations, if you have a nuclear power stations, be careful when people start using it, because in the plasma condition, it's not good for power stations. So the French users and the European users, you have to warn your governments to disengage nuclear reactors at the turbine from the grid. Italians are doing it. Italians have a reactor in a full power, never put anything into grid because they voted they don't want nuclear years ago. But by the time they gave the vote, the reactor was already commissioned. But once you commission a nuclear reactor, you can't stop it. So the nuclear reactor cost billions of dollars for this country, is running at zero supply. Correct? I know. I know with your nuclear boys, you work with them. You have a nuclear power station here in Italy, which was just before it comes into grid. You had a vote here if you want nuclear or not, and you voted not, and now it stands still. Still producing power like a normal nuclear power station, but it cannot go into putting into grid. So billions is sitting there for nothing. So you're lucky. The worries for the Germans and the Russian, what they call it, French, who have all these nuclear reactors. And when the Germans start supplying the grid, Germany will not be very happy. All the reprocessing plants become useless. They become a burden on the nations just to keep them. But if you want to know, there is a way to stop all the nuclear waste, damages, the way we help with TEPCO and they announced they stopped the radiation in, what do you call it, Fukushima in reactor 1 and 2 with the strontium. Now they have a solution for cesium and they have a solution for tritium. And the only sadness is the people who helped us to take it to them have been made to resign. They've sacked them because Keshe Foundation was not supposed to know that their technology is used in helping Japan with Fukushima. But unfortunately, I have offered the directors who've been sacked a job to sell the new power supply units in Japan for the Japanese, plus the CO2 in Japan for the Japanese, to help people outside. It was a very good move by TEPCO. Actually, it's backfired because now the Japanese nation gets power supply without the use of nuclear power stations in Japan. We protect people who work with us. And we have offered them a full job, full capacity. They don't need to import. They can produce everything in China. Don't forget, this company already took all the materials for power production, energy production, before TEPCO got involved. We were involved, and TEPCO found out we work with these people. They came through them to get us to supply the cleaning up system. So the company directors decided to sack the management, that TEPCO doesn't need to pay them a lot of money. And now the management, in the coming days, they become on the payroll of the Keshe Foundation for Japan. So they produce the same system as we do in Japan, that people can get out of the poverty of the energy and the crisis of the land contamination. So now you understand the process. The whole structure of energy production changes a lot of things. Can somebody go on the internet and tell me what is the national consumption of energy of Italy? You should be able to find it. Energy, electricity. It should be a statistic. Nowadays, we have it at our fingerprint. All those Americans who die because of cold, they can't afford the electricity bill. Now, they can all live in the hot houses and they can heat up the swimming pools, they can swim. What is the national consumption of electricity for Italy? There is a chart somewhere, we used to have it.
It's about 6,000 kilowatt hours per person.
6,000 where? In the United States?
In Italy. The EU average is about 7,400, but in 2008, Italy consumed 6,054.
6,000. And what's the population of Italy? Roughly 70 million. Yeah? 6,000 kilowatt hour is 2,400 euro per year per person electricity. Multiply it by 7. What, 60 million? Oh, you haven't been very active, have you?
Yeah, that's
right. You haven't too many pizzas. 60 million, 6,000. you have 2,400. We're counting this as a point of 0.4 cents per kilowatt hour. So you have, what have I done? That gives you 2,400 euro per person per year. That's total average. Some people don't use electricity off the streets. Everything else counts on it. So 24,000, so 2,400. And then you add the millions in front of it, plus, we count it 6, or we do it 60, then it'll be correct. I counted as 70 million.
The total electricity in Italy is it's over 300 terawatt hours.
Yeah, we go a different way. We're looking at the financial impact. 6, this is a million. We put the figures in front of it. That's the 20. That is what Italy pays per year for consuming energy. 14 billion. We average 30% cost of raw material. 1/3 of this, let's say roughly 15 million, is 5 billion. That's a saving for the nation. This is only on electricity. Nations like Japan, South Korea, Italy, which are highly imported, energy dependent, 5 billion pays for a lot of schools. Pardon? Is more. What is it? 144. Where did you get that from? Oh, yes, I made a mistake. You're right. We made a mistake here because it's not 6 million Italians, it's 60 million Italians. Changes the figure drastically. 144 billion just on energy. 1/3 of it, that's 50 billion paid to import oil from or coal. These are colossal figures. Go back and divide it. It means if you take the 60 million out divided by 6, that's every Italian breathing person puts 900 euro into Saudi Arabia, into Middle East for oil. Every year. Means whatever you do, you have to raise that to be able to have the energy to work. This is not including cars and transportation. You add that to it, 100 billion. Don't forget, some of the African nations' total gross income is 1 or 2 billion. How much can the Italians help themselves and the rest of the Africans and the rest of the third world? And now, this is nothing. Multiple this by the use in the United States. Change is huge. The problem is, now, nation like China with this technology will have a heyday, because one of the biggest problems, now we see the Great Dam in China creating so much problem. And once you generated the power, you have to transmit it. With this technology, you don't need to transmit anything. It's the end of transmission line. The end of how much money nations like China will save. Huge amount. Third world nations don't need to spend money on lining cables. The way we receive, as I said in the teaching of students yesterday, the way we have changed from the landline communication to mobile phone. We don't need any more landline telephone. Hardly anybody has a landline telephone. We are going the same way. Free energy according to what you need at the point you need. The whole structure of humanity from today has changed, or from last week. When a black man from Africa explained it in a simple way, where all the knowledge seekers in this place, since last year they built it, but they didn't know, they built part of the system. What it is, what has happened, where the change is, you haven't even realized yet. You built this and you built that separately. You made a production system, you made a receiver system, but you never connected them. That's all Alex has done. Because this you've done in a dynamic form last year. We have God knows how many units like this. Dirk Laurensens is busy trying to patent it that stop you for the Belgian government. Because it's a Belgium, it's a national asset of Belgium, they fight it. That's why he's trying to patent it, and he's the closest person to the Keshe Foundation. Another knife in the back of the foundation. Because we said, nobody patents nothing because it's got to be free. And that was the ethos of the working from day one. And somebody so close, drawing patents to stop the rest of the people. So I don't need to say who works for who. Then you made all the gas reactors. You made gas reactors. We've shown 129 Tesla with this. Now you're collecting what this system is releasing. That's where the change came. And if you extend your knowledge one step further, which is at the moment, maybe in the coming days somebody will understand, is that if you make your beads, what we call the beads, the right way, you understand it the correct way, the plasma core sitting here is the sun and the universe. Do you need to have the cores to spread the fields? These fields are already freely available. These reactors are not doing anything which the sun and the earth is not doing daily. So if you can understand and build a system which taps into the gravitational magnetic field of the solar system or the universe, as you've done with these cores, which is a free plasma, then you have energy as much as you like, wherever you like in the universe. This is where the change comes. This is where the development is. This is where no nation can tax you, because you can stand still and have whatever you like. Your fridge, your freezer, everything else. You just need a unit about that big. It supplies all the energy it needs. Cost less than, let's say, maximum 10 cents here. Because you still are in the frame of matter world. You look what we've done here. We put two beads. We connected it the right way. And that's all we've done. We connected it to electricity power supply. What did we say? You need a star formation, and you need a loose one somewhere here, which is that little boy on the floor. The sun, the earth, human being. Why do you need to create reactors? It is the limitation of your knowledge which is giving you the restriction, and in a way, when we sit in this position, energy industry is finished. Abuse of energy is finished. If you noticed, 9 o'clock, just before we start, we had the blackout. They urged us to stop the transmission of teaching today. Things don't happen. I was told we're going to have a problem around 9 o'clock, be careful. And you've seen it. There are no coincidences. Because they don't want this knowledge to spread that they lose control. But the thing is, as I said, they left me too long, too free to teach, to spread the knowledge, to write books, and now it's too late. So, as I said, it's very, very simple. I would like to tell people, you saw the systems yesterday be open, our servers were damaged. I've got the news for the Belgian government, officials who stole the servers. We have cleaned up the servers, military standard grade. You understand exactly what it means. You're welcome. You found nothing. Piece of iron we gave you, and you thought you decoded it. We cleaned the system, military standard, full purification before shipment. Thank you very much. Now I gave you a tip. You wasted your time damaging computers. Now you got to pay for it. We know what we are doing. We are well aware of what you're up to. You didn't know that. Bring the systems, open it up, you find nothing. It was cleaned militarily, cleaned before even leaving the, what do you call it, server bank. So, I've got a very bad news for you, Mr. Delanois. You shot yourself in the foot, you left your fingerprints and your officers, and we know where to get you. We moved the thing safe to be evidence in the criminal court of justice. So, now you understand. In so many ways, the system is free to go. Let me tell you, we were told that the Belgians decided they're going to intercept the fake. And for a month we were looking for this, we were waiting, we're tracking it. We know who's touched it, we know who had it, we know everything. So they were cleaned militarily, which means no data is left. Blank, it's a procedure, everybody knows, and they fell for it. We just were looking for fingerprints, and they left it. We wanted the physical evidence, Belgian authorities have given it to us. It can only be my fingerprint, and the guy in the server house, anything extra is theirs. So, Mr. Hans Brackenier, you left the big evidence for us to get you down very fast. You're just about, the noose is getting tighter on your neck. And the King of Belgium. You thought you were clever, you walked in the trap, we set you up, and now we got you. We were looking for a physical evidence. It's a sad time for the King of Belgium. He will commit suicide in a very short time because he knows we are very close. You have to understand something very, very clean. Start extending the knowledge. Start taking the shackle of limitation you put on yourself. Look at the work of the universe. Look at the work of the solar system. You can build any system you like. You see a star, you don't understand the work of it. Look what creates, what effects it creates. And look in the effect, how you can create it, you match it, you find the essence of its mystery. This is, now that you are open the space into man, man has to have the tools to know how it goes, how it's done. Do you know why you found the boxes like this yesterday, the servers, which is on the YouTube? Because they got so angry they couldn't get anything out of it, they just dropped it in the box. They were vacuum packed, sealed to come. The damage you see on the server was anger that they couldn't find what they were looking for. When you're angry, when you go to seal, it's not there, you destroy. That's what you saw. Now you understand why we follow the procedure. So we're going to get paid back handsomely for the damage. No problem. Now, we go back on what we came in for. How much and what you can do. You go to understand if you can create the gravitational magnetic field between a system like this that can collect the matching. You people in the west coast of America are suffering from the remains of Fukushima, which is still flowing in. Develop a technology. Hopefully, Harman will do it. Where is he, by the way? He's been working late again. He'll walk in sooner or later. You can, in the West Coast, create a magnetic field between the two systems that matches the radioactive material from Fukushima. You have a fingerprint. If you don't know what the fingerprint of Fukushima radiation is, we have a kilo of material here in Italy, and we have a liter of the fuel from reactor number 1 here in Italy. The people from TEPCO brought it in. So you make it, we give it to you, you match the magnetic gravitational field, do what the Russians did. You fly one system across the sea, and you fly one system above and a submarine at the sea level. Anything you can collect on the top. The way you're collecting energy here and you feed it in, you collect radioactive material. Because now you tune into the radioactive material. Because as I keep on saying and you keep on forgetting is the man understanding has been that only iron and iron-based materials can be magnetized. This is a magnet. Yeah? Now with this technology, because you know the plasma, you can create magnetic gravitational field of any structure, because even the matter is a plasma itself. So you create a condition, you wipe out all the damages, which has come from Fukushima. It should take the American scientists maybe a week maximum to clean up all the mess. If you don't know how to do it, Keshe Foundation will give you all the knowledge. I opened my books of attraction of radioactive materials, which I worked on for centuries. You can have it. Because it takes a lot of pain from a lot of people suffering, not even from the man, from the fish in the sea, because still got a soul. So if you people in America would like to clean up your system and don't be a thief like TEPCO, we give you more knowledge how to clean up. We gave the solid state matter to the thieves because I knew they're going to thieve it. The TEPCO and the Japanese Prime Minister's work. I teach you the plasma level. Because when you deal with materials like this, these are the ganses of the matters which you are using in the beads. You are limited to the magnetic field of where they come from. When you create gravitational magnetic field and fly over a structure, you take everything with you. You can actually, we were going to show this, but it's going to be very interesting. We can fly, we can arrange, not a flight, a system that flies over Western Europe and empties all the central bank gold. Very easy. We create the same thing. Don't look strange. We create the same gravitational magnetic field. All it is, barrier, physical barrier is nothing. You have created it. You have done. I told you, this man is free. He's got life. Us, we have wife. Then it takes time. So he works night time to talk to his wife in America. So he works 2 shifts. Welcome, Armin. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks very much. So now we understand your limitation was this. Now, if you understand this working, you have no limitation. There's a lot of clicking and clacking. Your toaster is making too much noise. We have to disconnect you. You're not making any toast. He doesn't like it. This, it's this one. It's telling me let me out. I hope it doesn't fall. God help us. So, you see, is the light bothering you now or not? Are you okay? We have filtered you. We can just see the top of the light. Yeah, the light is running in the background. It's good. It's safe. I wanted to ask our guys from the research center to come here to start the motor. Because it's electric motor, it does not cause any fume. We can run it full time on this system. So as long as none of you gets on it, yes, I understand, Armin. Nobody goes on the bike. Are you sure, Marco? Nobody goes on the bike. We can run a bike today here. So you see the application, not only in light, in consuming, in energy production as well. We're trying to do it, but the guy hasn't come in. He will come in and he'll show you. We just plug it, and you can run the bike off the main to show the change of the course in energy. But I'll give you one thing. Tonight we have a show with Mike Harris to show the technology to the American public. We'll show the bike in operation tonight, hopefully. That the Americans who are so energy hungry will satisfy your thirst of energy. So it's not, this is what I said, we build it step by step. So today, later on, we let the motor run, we put it on, as it demands, it charges itself. I don't know how to do it. The guy is only one man knows how to do it, and he speaks Italian. So we have to get him here to start it. So today, you will see it. I have to tell you something. We have made, as I said in the teaching yesterday to the students, we have made approaches to the Italian government to start feeding the national grid directly with the energy. So we are so confident that in the coming days, we will join the national grid of Italy to supply free energy at no cost. We are not charging the Italian government anything for the Italian nation. We estimate we can put a day into the grid from one post, because the post is already there. All we have to do is just plug the system in. And if they give us the permission, we become a national supplier of energy and at zero cost. So you can ask your government, can we have the free energy with Keshe Foundation put on the grid? So what we see, we already are doing it here at 14 kilowatt, 50,000 kilowatt, 24 hours a day, goes into operation very soon. If they give us the okay today, we can meet the challenge. And do you know how we meet the challenge? You have the system here. We just move this to the grid. Because it works on the plasmatic, not on the electron vibration. The free flow superconductivity transports till the point of demand, it converts to the matter vibration electron. That's how you receive your electricity. That's how you can transmit megawatts of energy down the line, because at the point of demand, it changes from plasmatic flow to electron vibration. Because it slows down enough, it becomes matter entity of a plasma. So we have to understand not the application, but the implication. The understanding is very, very simple. You produce enough that satisfies the need, and then if you can do, as we've seen, you can convert the surplus energy again as you slow down. This is something I think maybe one or two of you understood. The others haven't yet. Maybe we bring a new line of thinking into the teaching. Last time I played, I couldn't use the credit card. I demagnetized telephones. Explain to you what happens. You have seen, let's clean this up. I said to one of my connections, 5+1 negotiation is in a bin. What are you negotiating for? Obsolete technology? Because now with this technology, why is a boycott on Iran when there is no need for nuclear technology? Iran doesn't need it. I advise my government, shut down the power stations if you're going to be living on your own. So there should be no boycotts. And as I said to the White House very clearly, 5+1 negotiation has gone to the bin. It's worth another paper written on, because now anybody uses nuclear power is in a shambles. What are you negotiating for? Maybe now you understand why the negotiations were delayed by a week. It should not be signed. I advise as advisors to my government, please do not sign the agreement, because we will be betrayed, and we do not stand for such a position, because now with the free energy technology which is on the board, there is no need for boycott. Nobody, because nobody needs nuclear and nobody needs nuclear weapon. And we said from the beginning, Iran is a peaceful nation. Again, wrong decisions has brought misery to too many people and has to end. So in so many ways, I advise the Iranian government to abandon negotiation, because there is no need for negotiation, because there is no need for nuclear material. With this technology, everything has finished. We don't need it, we don't use it, and as I said, we have to stand by it. As a senior nuclear physicist, I advise my government, do not negotiate. Walk off the negotiation table. Anybody signs the agreement with Iran +1 has betrayed the Iranian nation. Because we do not need to be boycotted for what we don't need, and there is a new technology which has made the nuclear technology obsolete. You don't fight for a number of donkeys in the garden because they are no use. Now you have a car. So understand something very clear. You made a plasma. You made the beads. You created a plasma flow. The plasma flow through this comes very easy. When it's needed in the plasmatic DC, DC is a current of the plasma. In plasma, you travel through magnetic field motion. And when you see a resistance that you have to come, it changes plasmatic condition into what the entity can take. You take what you need at the point of need. This is what we've been teaching you for a long time. So at this point, when you give the electricity to a, let's say, a laptop, you have a DC. At this point, you give the energy to the toaster to make the toast. You go to AC, so you change the need to vibration of electron. So that's how you create your energy. The rest carries on as a plasmatic condition. But there is a third way from here or here. You can create a condition with a plasmatic condition which you deliver, like Earth creates a condition for a matter state of zinc or aluminum or continents or whatever you want to call it. This way, understanding this, you can slow the material to create a boundary, what you call Coulomb's barrier, as a vision of entity attachment, which means you can produce any material, any color, anywhere in the universe. You do not need a mine to dig copper. You do not need cotton to make shirt. You do not need iron to make a bridge. At the point of demand, you want iron, you use the plasma not to slow down to the electron level vibration to use it as a current. You take it a step further, that instead of that, you create a vibration at the electron level at any matter in the plasma, or you convert the energy of the plasma to its gravitational magnetic field strength, like the GaNs. So you tell me what you like. Anywhere. You can't come back to Earth to look for copper or iron or aluminum. If you understood this, you create your own matter anywhere in the universe, the color you like it, the shape you like it. These are all ganses. One, because of its gravitational strength, is blue, and the other one is white. You wanted red, you have the red. So if you understand this process, I am sure by tonight we will get a color combination from Alex, because he understood the code I gave him. I hope he can do it. So now you want it red, this is red, and you can create a specific condition very rapidly that you don't need to dry anything. Here we dry the gas, that's the CO2 in a nano state condition. Nobody has seen gases in powder. Now you see it. So you change your material by changing the plasma at source or creating condition here. The way you change the condition, you change the AC, DC to AC, to use as energy. You change the condition to produce cotton, food, any tangible thing you like. You learn in the teachings, and I'll go back again, the interaction of 3 nanomagnetic fields or plasmatic magnetic fields gives the appearance and the texture of the skin of the man. The skin of the man, that's how it's produced. That's why you have 3 layers. The 3 layers of nanomaterial give the hexagonal shape as we thought, and you see in the same thing when it's in the plasma state, in the gaseous state, on the hexagonal north pole of Saturn, because 3 layers are there. Actually, there are scientists here who have physically shown this can be done by electron magnetic field vibration. You can create the skin. It can be done very easily. Some scientists are on the right track, but they are in the wrong side of the road. If they change it to plasma, they achieve it very, very fast. So now you understand, you don't need the beads. You need a condition that the beads collects mixture of energies until at the point of demand, it becomes what the demand is. Here, you collect energy from the GaNs of all the materials which are here as a field. There, if it's needed, you change it to rotation. If it's needed, you change it to DC. If you want, you change it to light. You see the whole process. So now you can do the same with your systems. You got to see the whole structure. And this is more or less the whole structure you need in the universe. You have produced enough energy and you have produced enough plasmas. I know Armand has received the email with a picture last night with the electrode. You didn't receive it? You should have received one. I was told one was sent to you last night. of LED lights. So we know we should have, maybe by tomorrow, we put a special session. We show the first battery cache foundation. It is, I was told, it will be ready. If it's ready today, we show it today. If not, by tomorrow, as we start opening the sessions, you will see the first generation of the cache foundation batteries like this. That will be supplied. So if you have systems which use this kind of battery energy supply, you will see one of them, hopefully, if the promise is kept. But apparently there is a units made. You will see the rough of it, the same as what we show here. You will see the batteries. You can have a 3 volt, 1.5 volt, exactly. But these batteries will last 20, 30, 100 years. You don't need to recharge them. It's the very much. It works in a different way, the same as this. You can create it, you can do it, and if you know how to use it, you can create a pulse and everything else. You can decide the amount of energy you release, the way you release it, and the strength you release it by literally using a plasma condition. So what is important is not what we have achieved. What is important is what we can deliver and we can keep to. I think is going to check the meter. Are you happy? This is 3.3 and 17.6. You're happy? That's the man from the Westinghouse. He has to do the checking himself. So we see what happens. There is no, what was it this morning you wrote? 3.2? Yeah? So we got 3.3 and the other one is 17 point. What was the other one? 17.3? Now it's 17.6. And that was 3.3. So we have increased again by the same ratio up. You see, this is what literally a house needs to run a fan, whatever, a light. This, at cost of nothing, is a dream of a man in Africa. As you know, we have started collaboration with Ghana Energy Center, and they couldn't come online. And today they can't come online. And this is the director of the energy center of a nation. They don't have electricity to be able to run their business at the head office of a nation electricity board, to come online to be able to learn the technology. You've been asked to make a system to send. Yes, you know. So it has to be done. The nation has more priority than we have. Make it, gas system, everything to go. Yeah? You make the beads the way they can do it, you can ship it. Yeah? This is the most strangest thing is Ghana supplies a lot of raw material into the world, but its nationals are suffering with nothing. Can you look at the Ghana's export? What do they export? What's the national export of Ghana? Ghana. Just minerals, yeah. Pardon? The 7 largest nation producing gold. Diamonds. Industrial minerals. Gold, silver, and diamond. Yeah. 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 Salt and iron. You see, they have silver and gold.
And
What
plus,
uranium.
I see that they get 97% of their energy from hydroelectric power.
Yes. But interesting enough, we saw how brass was used and titanium was used to make the bead. You can use the gold and the silver without exporting it. You have your system for producing much more powerful system to supply energy to your nation. So you see, we use copper. They can use silver. They can even use gold. And as we heard from our Italian, where did it disappear to? This guy just goes and comes whenever he feels like it, no problem. Pardon? The beads, yeah. You can do whatever you like. The thing is, don't put limitation on your brain. You can make the beads, if it's beads like this, make one with silver, one with gold, one with copper, mixture of materials, blah, blah, blah. Don't put limitation on your understanding. The heavier, no, the heavier material GANs you use, the more power. You can use minerals. You can use all sorts of minerals in a GANs state to do it. A lot of you, when we taught you how to make water food, you can literally collect different kind of minerals from inside the container in a solid state. I know because I have a box which does that. Ever comes to time of hunger, I will not go hungry because I know what to do. Don't forget the man said, you just need a fire and a piece of metal. Heat it up, cool it down. Heat it up, you produce another material. No problem? So, understand how, don't put limitation just because what you've seen. I see this now on the internet with all the Keshe Foundation followers. They are following exactly how he did. He's like me. God has no measure when he made earth. Whatever is there. Half a kilo of this, whatever comes, he just mixed it. There was no measurement. It means you have not understood the process. You have not understood what it is and what it's going to bring and how it's going to change. Don't forget caustics, burning a steel to make nanomaterial. Current has been with us for centuries, thousands of years. You looked into the matter state instead of looking for Last mistake. You made a mistake, nobody else. I put my payment aside. It's not very good today. Less than €1. Makes too much noise. Oh, there's another one. Oh, €1.20. Payment is good today. So, you see what it does. I tell you something which you realize what happened today. Last year, we were told that the Belgians wrote, everything came to 29th of July was blank. Meant I would have been assassinated. They took everything, they couldn't find any reference in their communication after 29th of July because they were sure 100% John will kill me. I'll be none of that. And they wiped it out. This is a pattern of Belgians. When they write you off the Wikipedia, means they already planned your assassination. So you have to watch. This is something you'll be very careful with. You got to realize the reality how these criminals work. If anything happens to me, ex-King of Belgium, the present King of Belgium, and the President of the United States are the murderers and the people who have organized the assassination. And in time, it will be opened up. Oh, boys, you don't know what you're playing with. Any questions? Are there any questions on the chat?
Yeah, absolutely. I know in the live
Let me tell you something, because maybe you can put it on the screen. If you do not know how to do it, Cash Foundation has put these energy units for sale, delivery within 90 days. We most probably deliver long before that. But because of the August holidays in Europe and the lack of the loosening of the workforce, we had to extend it. Otherwise, we would have delivered within time frame of 30 to 60 days. So if you want to purchase the power unit or you want to purchase the energy unit, and in the coming days or weeks, I should say, we deliver a flying unit where you can fly with the system. You can attach it to anything. You can fly with it. You can go with a Persian carpet back to state for your holidays. So they will come for sale. What we have structured the sale is this way. We have priced the system. Can you show the system on the screen, please, Rick?
Yes, I'm just trying to get it up here.
The system board has been put at $499. The cost of manufacturing for Cash Foundation is around €50, maybe €100. We use the balance to supply the third world nation and the poor in Europe. So what it is, we don't take the money. What we do, whatever is the net profit, every month we build units which go freely to the people who need. They cannot pay the 500. So we don't keep profit. We take our expenses, whatever we do. I live a luxury life. I still take my money because I can make millions. I'm happy a few $100s to at least work 20 hours a day. The balance goes that way. We charge 21% if we have to pay national taxes, but as we export everything out of and we import into, we have no national taxes to pay. That 21% will be shared across the world, again as free units to nations. If you have to pay it, we pay to the nation. If you don't have to pay, we collected it, we make more systems to go. You have responsibility to your nation. With this technology, as we showed you, there will be no need for power stations. There will be no need for a lot of things now. You use fuel stations, engineers who run the stations, and the rest of it. So you contribute €200 voluntarily to your nation. We have put a link. You click which nation you want the 200 to be paid. Collectively, we negotiate with the government where this 200 goes. It cannot go and pay the wages of a president. It goes into hospitals, teaching, or whatever. We monitor the whole gift. We gift it, you gift it, not us. On your behalf, we control it. Then you agree to pay a further €100 annual fee to your government, that you make sure the schools stay open, roads are clean, and everything else. Somebody is there to look after you. So at the end of the day, you pay something like €600, €700, €900 on account of the Cash Foundation. All the payments are on PayPal. They are not on a bank payment, which means they are guaranteed to be returned if we don't deliver. We will not use DHL 100%. DHL is a fraudulent company, because then they steal the units as they did with others, with the books and the rest with us. The management of DHL has to go into prison for theft and higher seas. High treason of a nation is a criminal offense. So we use even a means putting Cash Foundation supporters on the plane to carry things to make sure he arrives. We will do it. So in that way, you receive your system. You can use it in the car. You can use it in the house. You can use it for any purpose you like. And then you can feed your neighbors. The purpose is not just giving a unit to your neighbors or us giving it, because in you collectively feeding each other, you feed more and more community. So one of you collectively can buy a unit, 500 or 1,000. You connect your houses together. One uses energy and the other ones benefit by it. This is a one-off payment. This is you buy it for the rest of your life. Till the system mechanically fails, then we find a way to replace it. If we charge you another $499, it'll be a good system. But whatever happens in physicality damage, it can be replaced at little cost. Don't forget, we estimate the cost for the whole system not to be more than €5,500. We are not opening a second Vatican to Rome. We are opening a system to feed the nations. I hope Vatican comes and pays us a few billion, say, this is what the human race has invested with us for today. Today is a doom. What do you call it? What do you call it? The day of judgment. We've been judged. We return the investment. If Vatican and Islamic nations support, what do you call it, mosques and other religions, pay the money they have collected as an investment to the workers in their own nations, not to Cash Foundation, nobody should die of hunger, because anybody in any nation can produce a very system like this. Very simple. Our priority in the West to give the free system is old people, people with large number of children, because we see them suffering. Our structure of distribution of the units is to old first. A lot of old people die in winter because they can't afford energy. We solve the problem. We go back to the national armies to distribute these correctly, because it's free. Nobody can pay. Soldiers are sitting there doing nothing. They can go and give units freely to defend the citizens. So there is an application for the armies. In that way, we make sure every house receives one. And in a way, even if you don't receive one, the neighbor uses it. Even if they still do a good thing, unless they destroy it and they don't use it. So if your neighbor steals a unit, it's still good, because now you get it free. So even in the stealing, is a good thing with this technology. So you have to understand the way we have worked and the way we have walked man into the path of freedom. And the only condition you will receive with every unit is before you use it and before your neighbors come to use it, before your government come to use it, you have to sign the peace treaty that you shall not use the technology in harming a single person, and the nation will not cause any wars anywhere on this planet and beyond. That's the only condition we have put on this use, is that you sign yourself and your nation to peace. And if this is too much, it means you're already a violent man anyway.
Mr. Keshe,
Yes.
Fellow called No NWO, meaning No New World Order, I presume, says, I thought this was all for all the poor people out there. That's $1,200 in Australian money. That's like 2 weeks of full-time work pay, which many people can't even hold
Pardon?
on.
Can you speak louder? We can't hear you.
Okay, I'll try to speak louder.
Yeah, we are.
He says,
Who says?
No NWO.
We are up. Okay, okay, we turned it up. Can you read it, please?
Okay. He says, No NWO from Australia says, I thought this was for all the poor people out there. That's $1,200 in Australian money. That's like 2 weeks of full-time work pay, which many people can't even hold on to for a day. So he's saying that's a lot of money to buy this commercial system for someone like himself, supposedly.
Yes, but the thing is, gather 4 or 5 of you, €100 is not much. I tell you the reason. Every time we gave things free, people abused us. This time, because you pay for it, you have respect for us, you don't bleed us, you don't threaten to kill us, because you're a bunch of thieves. So the people who want collectively, I'm sure you can collect €500 between. If you're poor, it means you don't have 20 electricity bills, light bulbs, you don't have 3 fridge freezers, you don't have 20 televisions in the house. It means you have very little, and that very little, others collectively can put together 1 unit, can supply 20 houses, no problem. That's why we rely on Africa. Very little, not much. But if you want, you can grow it. These are the excuses of people who find a way to do it. This time, no way. We don't give a unit to the man in the White House to kill the black one in Africa on the threat of SSI. And he says he's a just man. This time, everybody pays that by the end of the cycle, the rich, the poor, the needy, all receive the same. Because this time, if you have the money, if it's 2 months' work, 10 of you can spread. I tell you something, you're worried about the Australian man. In Africa, the whole family of 40 does not earn $1,000 to live. I know, I've been there, I worked there. I used to give a sack of rice to my workers because they threatened me, you're giving too much. I found a loophole to give them a sack of rice. And I said, what do you do with this sack of rice? He said, come with me, have a look what happens. I go home. The minute they know the sack of rice has come, all the members of family come. They have a cup. Everybody gets a cup. They spread the food that till next month, the next sack, there is food for everyone. So in Europe, you save it in the banks. In Africa, they share it to survive. That's why even in South America is the same. Even in India is the same. People have a little, they share. Here you have a little, you steal more, to steal more, and you have an excuse for it. We are not targeting at 300-400 million Western European or whatever, you're targeting at 4 billion of needy around the world. They don't count. They pay for them to be equal. The one who refuses to pay means he still wants to carry on with abuse. That's what it is, and I put in there. We watch how people donate. You make a donation, you wait at the end of the queue. Sorry, there's a problem, we cannot deliver. People who pay and they say, I'll pay for 10 units, you give it to whoever you like. Now you have supplied not 10 people, you have supplied 50 people, and those 50 people, when they receive the unit, they can support another 10 families. You have helped 500 people. The growth is so rapid, and I said very clearly, I especially, not to be accused of anything, close all my private accounts, and I live only on the Cash Foundation account. I go to a restaurant, I pay for it. I buy a pair of shoes, I pay for it. I receive $100,000 as a donation, put it in the bank account, the same account too. So it's as full as transparent to all the governments. That's why they haven't managed to touch me. I make money by selling my books. It goes to Cash Foundation Power Cell. The money used, every cent. I don't live a poor life. I live a very rich life because I always live that way. I don't suffer for the others to enjoy. I don't become a Christ to go on the cross for the others to learn. This way, we all learn to live the way we do, as much as we do, the pleasures of life together. That's the change of the ethos. So the people who say we cannot pay in Australia, they speak with about 30, 40 other people who can. Put your money together, you all get the energy, and if it is too much, we put it on the video. We did it with the GANs, we did it with CO2. Watch the video, get together, put $5 together, you make it for yourself. And don't forget, when you made it, you have a saving because you don't pay for the fuel, you don't pay for the energy, you don't pay for transportation, and you don't pay for food. Don't forget, there is still money to be paid back to the foundation that we can get the rest going. Don't become and make the mistake of the past to rob and to go. That's where the human race is in a heap of problems. The stealing has become a habit of a man, and that has to stop. When I close all my bank accounts, they said to me, you're crazy, such a business. I said, I don't do any more business. I close all my bank accounts that nobody in the future, when the foundation goes to where it's go, they don't say, you see, he used it for his own luxury. I lived in the house, in the mansion, in the Sensano. My students are still studying in the same house as me. More or less, we used to eat together. Till we got poisoned and we stopped eating it. I sat on one table and I saw a bowl of soup by John B. moved on to me. That's yours, Mr. Cash. It was cyanide in it. I drank the poison and I know it's a poison. So we are not running away from the reality. We ate with the people till the people, I still eat with my students. I still go out, we eat together, we still do. We still have a trust in man, but the man is the one who fails himself. The point is, in the last 2 days, 8, 9, 10,000 people have visited the site just for the power supply. So it's not 1 or 2 people. The videos has been distributed how to make the GANs, the energy. There is no shortage of knowledge. It's not time of the Egyptian that a few priests will know, and they kept the secret for 6,000 years that we had to come back and teach you again. This time, all of you know, except a few in Africa who don't have a internet, or on the street, the pavements of India, born on the pavement, die in the pavement because they have no money. Now they get a unit as well. At least on the pavement, they have a light, heat, and food. So we walked you into the path of correctness, and nobody will fall out of it. Because now you can produce as much energy. How much we produce now? We are at 17.7. We started at 17.2 this morning. We already put half a kilowatt hour into the national grid. What's happening? Do we need to know? Are you sure? No secrets. So what you see, 3 kilowatts, and if you go up, 17 kilowatts. So read me the questions, please. Hello, Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, hi. Just trying to see here. Well, there's a question from Gur Peters. He says, is there a limit on the output of the system? I mean, how many families can share one system? This could make it simple.
More or less, let me tell you, a lot of people I know, Vince has received emails from other people. Can you give a data? Can we have some data for this system? This system has no data. If you like a data, can I have a data for solar system, please? Can I have a data for the energy of the sun? Can I have an energy data for the galaxy? This system is a universal system. So those who ask, can I have a data, it means they haven't understood. So we cannot give you a data. Can I have 200? Remember, the more you put physical demand on it, the more it puts in the grid. But if you put so much on the grid or so much on your local wires, they burn out, not the system. It's not the system which fails. It's the environmental condition which gave you the wiring connection which cannot carry it. Most probably, in a coming time, the government has to make district by district disconnected, that the power supply stays locally. Unless somebody else somewhere else has it, that you cover the whole area. There is a solution to put the, what do you call it, the bead over the generators in Africa, to see if we can boost the power generation from 1 or 2 kilowatts to at least 100, 200 kilowatts, that it can cover more areas. But the problem is, most of these structures are bought second-hand. These are years and years ago they put a cable down somewhere in Africa. You got to understand how the structure works in Africa. People don't get the electricity cable. It's done on the back of the borrowing of United Nations Central Bank, Central European Bank. We give some electricity to somewhere or build a road. You go to Africa, you see a lot of these boards. Road built with the donation or support of the what they call European community, done by the Saudi Arabia. Sheikh of Kuwait or Qatar donated half of the street. And when they do it, they steal half of the money, and they use the lowest grade material just because it was free. It might not come again. They're not going to build, they don't find another sheikh fool enough to pay again to steal half of it. In fact, in a donations to African nation by any organization, out of every $100 paid, only $20 is actually spent on the target. The rest goes into bribery, theft, stealing, double invoicing, triple invoicing, and everything else. Don't tell me how I know. I worked in Africa long enough. Yes. Pardon? To heat water. Yeah? The same, you don't need. You connect it to the normal electricity. You have to. You have. No,
Sorry,
because you don't use the gas.
What was
The
the
question
question?
is if he can connect the electricity to his gas boiler. You don't need it because you want to heat the water to distribute, You put the heater around the house, it's no problem. You connect it in the water. You put your heater in the water, not in the tank where the gas burns. So, well, if you want to do it that way, is eating this way, you're quite welcome to it. You have to do it directly. Understand something very important. This is what the question is here. If I can connect the wires into the gas boiler in the house to heat up my water, you don't need to connect to the gas boiler. You put your heater into the water, electric heater, because there's no need for a gas. You don't need a diesel. If you want to heat up an electric heater in the gas boiler and where you're burning the gas, that's your job. You're burning and burning. But the more you heat up, the more you give energy to your friends. This is the beauty of it. We cannot write. There is no standard in the world at this moment to write or certify this technology. Because, very simple, we don't have a technology at this moment, excuse me, we don't have a technology at this moment to certify this. They want to hold it by certification. By the time you use it, all of you, the man who's certifying has already have one in his house. He doesn't know how to write the certificate because he's already bought one. Because, believe you me, I can open all the documents of the Keshe Foundation. Most of the patients of the Keshe Foundation who came as volunteers are doctors and medical people. They say, we don't believe in chemotherapy. Can you help us? We don't believe because they can't do. So you find out the guys who's going to do the certificate, in reading what this technology do, he already has bought one himself. We've seen this with the Swiss security. Last year, I can call the Keshe Foundation members who were sitting on the table with me. The guy says to me, I've got eye cancer. And then in the discussion, I find out that he is a senior security service agent of Swiss security. I was wondering how. He's responsible to go through my file. He gets a cancer. He says, the only one who can help me is Keshe. So he comes as the head of security man who's responsible for my case to see if I'm not a terrorist, is the only man who can help him. Understand what's the position, why they cannot certify it. At the moment, we do not have a system which can deliver both AC and DC from the same cable at the same time at high tensions. In this system, because you create a nanotechnology material directly on the skin and not as a powder, the atoms of the same material separate. I explained this yesterday to the students. They separate as a nano layer. When you see a nano layer black, is at least 30 to 50,000 layers. So in this layer, you have and you get a flow of superconductivity on the skin, which is AC/DC as a plasma. And here, because the plasma pushes itself due to pressure into the electrons barrier and make this a superconductor because of its characteristic, at the point of end when you need it, you get AC2. But because now the material outside, once you coated it, make the material inside to behave as a superconductor, you can transport megawatts, kilowatts of energy, AC/DC through the same channel. This is not known in the present science. And all of you make it in your house, as Alex showed us, just by heating the wire on the fire, very hot, cool it in there, and you build up layer by layer. So, in fact, you deliver both AC/DC plasma, even in the wire itself, if you know where the DC sits in it. This is where the change is. We don't have certification. Nobody has ever seen this kind of material, superconductivity, at room temperature. That's why, to you, producing energy from this little thing is strange. Because what happens, these layers are millions, thousands of layers deep. And Every nanomaterial is a ball of magnet. So as the energy comes, it gets trapped in these gaps. So it stores energy. At the same time, the minute you call it, it empties itself. And all you've done with putting the reactor cores as a supply, you keep on trapping, you keep on using. It's a new source of energy, new industrial revolution. It's you who has to twist it, and so many people are using it, will use it, that in the coming months, you will find a very strange scene if you've ever been to Athens. If you go to Greece, some time ago when I was there, what you see is tankers, oil tankers after oil tankers floating on the sea. Because there are no customers to ship. They built so many. And they are there because of whatever reasons they were built. In the coming months, we'll have oil tankers all over the world. Because up to now, they used you and your cars to burn what is not needed. This is what the petrol and the diesel you use. You get the other byproducts. Now, when people convert to energy, you can put it in an ashtray in a cigarette box. You don't need a fuel. Where are these super tankers going to deliver the oil to? The crisis is multiple. The crisis is beyond imagination. There will be no war because everybody starts creating what should we fight for? What's the rules of fighting? What tanker is there? Is there? It was under the ground 1,000 meters. Now it's over the ground in the tanker. Nothing has changed. Nobody can abuse no one in no sense because there is no need to do. If you start manufacture one for yourself and 10 for your friends. Because then you supply 500 people, and those 500 people, because they see benefit of it, some of it make for another 500 people. In less than 3 months, 6 months, the Earth will be self-sufficient without burning any fuel. CO2 is finished. We have this problem in China. In China, I offered the technology to Mr. Hoy, the blueprint to do, and what I hear is finding a way to rent the system to make more money. He's already finished with transition. What I hear he's trying to do and force in China is that people have to come and pay. We rent the system, that we can get more money out of them. And the man who came here to donate us this and that, and then everything is done. Wrong ethos. Because now, when you give, people have everything. In China, once we produced the first car unit, and I gifted to the president of China and his nationals of China, there will be no smog in Beijing. There won't be no smog in Shanghai. Have you been to Beijing? In Beijing, you're driving and suddenly there is a building there and then there is no building. You can't see it. So when you're not burning any fuel, with a high concentration of water in it, whatever we were discussing, there is no smog. You clean up the mess in Beijing in no time. And I know Chinese government will go with this very rapidly. I send one directly as a gift to the president because we have access to him through Keshe Foundation connections. We've been promised it will go to him directly. So don't forget, Chinese leadership has translated all the books of the Keshe Foundation supporters to be done in, they've done investigation, they know how correct we are. And I'm sure if any Keshe Foundation supporters in China, which is a large number of them, have you made a system, contact me directly. We put it directly by today, by this week, in front of your president. Chinese, made by Chinese for China through Keshe Foundation. That's what we are looking for. If any of the Keshe Foundation supporters in China, I know you have already done a lot of work, make a unit, exactly what we've done here, put it crudely, don't look at it with sparkle, contact me, and through Keshe Foundation, we have access through the energy company. I was told yesterday, immediately we'll go to the highest level to the president of China. It means By tomorrow, if you already manufactured it, by next week, it'll be in front of the world leaders. Because when they see it, they know how much money it saves the nation. Why China spends so much effort outside China to give to the other nations? Because it wants to guarantee, assure, continuity of supply, but in a correct way. I adore and work with the Chinese government in every way because they work in the same ethos of Keshe Foundation. Not to rob, but to add to the asset of the nation. I've had a contact with them over years in businesses, and I admire the way they work. Their ethos is exactly the same as us. Not to rob the African nations. We give you the price of the good commodity as it is in the market, half of it in cash, half of it doing infrastructure. Nobody has done. Europeans robbed the Africa for pennies for years, centuries. And now, if you're a Chinese, I don't say if you're Chinese, you're Chinese, you're doing a lot of research in this level. Please make your Ganses, make your units to show that the energy is done the way we show it, and contact me personally or contact the webmaster, tell them you have a unit ready. We ask the people in China to make their move immediately. By next week, you'll be in front of the world leaders to decide to change the course of the nation. Then China does not need to import millions of gallons and create so much havoc for themselves. So this is where the technology is going. This is where the change is. This is what I told you. I go in my time when I choose, not when a pedophile as the King of Belgium decides to kill me because he came to see me that he can have the technology to more abuse more. Vince, do you have the picture of the King of Belgium standing on the coffee table and sitting next to me begging for his life? Put it on the screen. If you don't have it, we release it. One of the most shameless time of my life was sitting next to a pedophile, and I have to address him as Your Excellency the King. He doesn't know what I know about him. And these are the people who damage the servers, take you off the Wikipedia, and the rest of it, because they want to carry with abuse. World leaders, like Chinese world leaders, are the people who don't want to change it. In the files of the Keshe Foundation somewhere, you should have the picture of the King of Belgium sitting next to me having a coffee on a Sunday afternoon in the remotest cafe in Belgium. If you don't have it, I'll send it to you. You can put on the pictures of the Keshe Foundation. There are 3 of them. This is the time when I was writing the 4th book. So you can see how shameless these murderers are. They call themselves a king, but they're nothing but pedophiles and murderers in the dress of king. I think, to me, the palaces of the kings should be burned down because they've done enough abuse, enough children have suffered in this building. In so many ways, I have given you the freedom. In so many ways, I have taught you the ethos of the freedom. It is you who should not allow it to happen again. It is you who should not allow the knowledge to be hidden that, again, the whole thing can be abused. We carry on teaching. We open new doors, new ways of teaching every day. We show in the coming weeks, maybe next week or the week after, how you make materials. You put your reactors, you've seen it, Alex has done it. Now we bring it here for you to see. How you can produce matter out of the space is already on the Facebook. People have seen it. Now we bring it here, like the way he showed us the energy, he'll show us. You have to understand, Alex is on a full-time commission with the Keshe Foundation. He works on the same ethos as us. So he's part of the Keshe Foundation full-time employees. We are all here to serve, and he has become part of the foundation. Nobody can offer him. There are a lot of people offering him jobs, whatever. He says, I've already been sold. So he's worked for the foundation. He brought the knowledge. Now he's a full-time, works for the foundation to develop in a way for you lot, not me. Have you found the picture? Okay. If you don't have it, it's being kept. I have it on the key We can give it to you. You can publish it next time around. So now, pardon? It's on the internet. We already released it some times ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing that picture on the internet somewhere. We have a question from Vin. What to do if you can't put the over unity back in the grid? If you have this energy,
you don't need to. This is the wrong mentality. You never have over unity.
Right.
Over unity is over because you take what you need at the time you need, so everything else stays in the system. It's not that you need a battery. There is no need for a battery. Tesla battery is finished because you have it when you need it, and it's there with you. You don't need to change to achieve it. Some of the systems we show in the batteries in the coming days, you will see that we use batteries, but that's for a different purpose. To give you the initial pull, that once it comes to the pull, the energy supply is supplied. What we do, we create very much, if you don't understand it, the same process as what you have on the system now. On the system, you have this. You have a bead, then you have the star formation, and you have a system here. So the star formation is your bank of energy, continuously spreading. In a battery, you do totally exactly the same. You place a small battery at the bottom, preferably rechargeable. If you don't have a battery, you make a very small, thin container, and you fill it up with ganses. You connect your light, and you connect your nano-coated the bead here. And this is your 9-volt battery. You need to produce a reserve of energy that while this is there, the process is continuous. Whenever you put it in, you use it. Here, this is this. You cannot do. You have to create a reserve to be able to call upon it. You're used to battery to charge. Now, your charge is your gas material. And if you use, I gave this design to Arman 2 months ago to go to China for Sohail to produce it. They didn't understand it, so it's not my job. Correct? You gave it to him. He hasn't. They're still looking because they haven't understood. You create a reserve bank. If you put chemical things, you have a problem. But use a dynamic and then use one of the beads and then take your energy. What you need. Whenever you need it, is there. Is there a problem? You got a headache? Would you like a hammer or would you like aspirin? Hammer will do. So you see, you just need to translate in how much energy you need. All of you, by tonight, if you have a gas at home and you made your system, you can make your batteries. But don't forget, when you make one battery, make 10 for your friends too. Because otherwise, you have not served the purpose. Because then you're all equal. If you can sit at home tonight and make this, if you've got a rechargeable battery, we'll do the same. You connect it to a bead, and then you connect it to the positive negative of your 9-volt battery. Whenever you want it, it's there. But make sure you leave a little bit of gas around here. or in the gap, you leave some GaNs that you create the energy from. So all you need to do tonight or today is get hold of a pair of pliers, open this, empty it, repeat the same process, close it. You have a battery for 30,000 years. Would you like? This is what I've been telling him. Just, can we charge your battery? Can somebody make some for us for tomorrow? And we run it. We see every couple of hours, the cameraman runs with a change of battery. The technology is, if you go on, correct? If you go on the pages of Keshe Foundation, this is not some, you were blind to it, we showed you. Go on the Keshe Foundation papers. I don't have the documents. You go on the Keshe Foundation website, you see the paper with the dryers, with everything else, with the battery, with the reactor in it. It's the same. I'm sure Rick or Vince can dig it out. It's been there for 8-9 years. It's one of the first papers we produced. So, any of you would like to make a battery for me tomorrow? Would I have it back tomorrow? You got to open it very nicely. Huh? It's not rechargeable. And then, if you understand this, you can see how that motorbike runs. It has the battery inside it. We don't need it. We use the battery to create the storage and the potential difference for it to run. All we do, we just put some beads in it, and we put some nanomaterials, or what do you call it? GaNs in it. So you see the process changes. The automotive industry, as of this week, is changed. The automotive industry has to look in unlimited resources of energy and on demand. You don't need batteries anymore. In the coming days, we will show buses, we will show vans, which run on this system. And the thing is, we take all the batteries out except one. You can use the space for storage, whatever you like to do. And then in the next step, if you have bought or made the energy system of Keshe Foundation, we show you how to fly with it. And then if you want to go a step further, because you understand the new structure we set up, I think maybe you're ready for it. If not, you'll remember I told you this. I've been working this morning from 4 o'clock, trying to make sure everything is done that we can process later on for our work. Yes? Yes, please.
Let's see if that's working now. Can everybody hear me on YouTube? Yep, should be able to hear me. Okay, so it was in Russian, so I had to get it translated. And it says, first of all, let me thank you for the work done by you. The information contained in your letter has been brought to the attention of deputies, members of the State Duma Committee on Internal Affairs, and be used in the work.
Hello?
Did you not hear me, Mr. Keshe?
No, carry on. We were listening.
That's the letter received from the Russian Federation to this person that sent it to them.
Thank you very much. You got to know Mr. Putin and his council are fully aware of the work of the Keshe Foundation. You haven't found the picture yet? It's not there. It's on the internet somewhere. If you search for it, it comes up. Can we have the page of the energy which was on the internet, on the website of the Keshe Foundation with a battery? It's like a drills and everything else on it. It's about the application. So the process is to change. You can't find it?
No, I've got this one. Let me just get the right one up here just a second here.
Can we share the screen with you?
I think it's this.
So, if you haven't found, when you find it, give me a shot.
Is that the one you mean?
Yes. This has been on Keshe Foundation. A switch generator is part of the patents has been put in. You see it. This is nearly 10 years old. It's taken human race 10 years to find out what we are talking about. You can embed these in any microchip. Go back here. Go down, go down. That's it there. This is, you can embed in this. You don't need any more batteries. Power supplies. It says Keshe plasma battery be made now, so normal size batteries to be used in all kinds of electronics which can last for years. So this is not something new. Now you come to it, we show it. If you go back on the understanding of what I was trying to explain to you, thank you very much. If you like the energy part, can we have the picture of the power supplies, please, which is in the shop? You have it somewhere there? So this is the tower where you get your power supplies. You pay 499 euro. Till I do not complete it and you are not ready for it, in time you will be, you produce all the energy you want. You can use the energy to create as much water as you need. Because even if you don't understand, because these are the new systems which is sold, offered in the market. You can see it. I don't want to donate. It means you're a thief. I don't want to give my technology to you. You got to wait till there is a time. 70 billion come first before you. We still supply you, but that's what it'll tell you. This cylinder, when it stands, you get the energy from it. What do you want to do? If you don't know still how to make water, you connect one part of this plug to a condenser, you have a clean water. You don't need to borrow, beg for water. Your water is totally free. So we finished with the water authorities too. Very bad shape. Because you just need to create condensation. But what is important? You can open, I'll build it now in a way that none of you understand what to do till I tell you what to do. This unit will give you the energy you're buying. If we progress to the point of world peace, I give you a gift. It's built in the system which can give you a shelter. You need to add something to it, very little. In a way, you don't need home. You have the shelter wherever you want. Because don't forget, you build it out of a plasma, you take it back in the shape of a plasma. And the plasma is a dome, is a circle. You cover half of it by land which you stand on, and the other half is your shelter. No rain, no noise, nothing. Especially if you live this part of Italy the way we love to, every night from 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning, there's a disco, correct? And we can't stop it. Because They come on holiday, they ruin the life of the people around them. The police cannot do anything because they take so much pressure, they cannot do anything. 2 people are dancing on the dance floor, 2,000 people around don't have a sleep. It's horrendous here. I'm going to one night wake you up. The other day I had to stop talking to Vince because they started disco, and they do it in such a loud way that it looks like it's right in the middle of your garden. And it's not just you, hundreds of people around you. And there is no law here to stop it. They go on holiday, making misery out of the life of the others. So what you do, this is what we did in the Sensano. You make yourself a noise shield. You don't need to buy alarm. The interesting thing is this is, you don't need to buy all these expensive alarm systems, tell them to get lost. You know why? Because you make a specific position in the system which allows only you and the people who you want to enter the house, to enter the body. This is what you call, when the American guy came to my garden in the Sensano, he said, here is noise and here is no noise. You can make it intense when you go home, out of the house, that nobody, this is a Coulomb's barrier. Now you extend the shield. The storm time, you build your own shield. You build your own tent. You take the system. I said today, can you put a handle on it? I know the guy says most probably, what is the handle for? Because when you go home, when you go to camping, you don't want the rain. If you adjust it the right way, just enjoy the sunshine, there is no wind. Look at it this way. You sit on Earth, you look at the moon, you look at the universe, the shield of the planet Earth, the same thing, covers you from all the magnetic field radiation and everything else. We don't do anything which it's just now you understand what are the possibilities and capabilities. The strangest thing is, the system is already set up that if you want to change the tent and put it with a little adjustment, you want to change it and put it in a box, which the box is connected to your body of your car, you can fly with it. Here we come, Washington. Total cost is still at €499. So we are giving you the gift of life. Water, energy, your transport, and your shelter. And this is what we promise as. Do you have that oyster system picture, please? This is what we promised, and now we have fulfilled it. And don't say anything, because it's there, you can see it running. You watch it for 7 days. It's now you have to adopt it, how you want to use it. So the new power unit you buy for $499 needs a slight adjustments or addition. So we make the additions according to the ticket of a flight. How much is a first class to New York? $5,000. So one flight to New York, first class in your car with the food and everything, $2,500 is good. Yeah? $1,000. You're too cheap. So he says $1,000, €1,000 for the use of the ticket. Every yes. Can you put it on, please? This is a king coming begging for his life because he knew what I'm going to do with him. But I was writing. He found me with the Queen of Belgium asking if Mr. Cash, can we speak to you? You can put it up. There is the King of Belgium. Yeah, no, the other one. Wait 1 second. We have to move it. Can you move the box? This is me, the Queen of Belgium on the left, and the King of Belgium on the right. There are pictures that is sitting having a coffee as well. Do you have that? We can show you. We didn't take these pictures. The day after He sat with me for an hour and a half. A woman who was in the cafe said, Mr. Cash, because they knew who I am, they're friends. I always wrote my book in this book number 4 is written in this restaurant. I choose different restaurants in Ardennes and write my books. So she said, there is a chip. Nobody knew. I took a picture while the king was with you. So that's why we have it. We didn't take it. And the king, if you look in the other pictures, we release it, carries a camera. He asks his bodyguards, can you take a picture with him with me? I want to have a picture of Cash with me in the picture. So he knows who's his doomsday. The kings, both presidents know who I am and what I'm about to bring. They just want to delay it, is their problem. We released a letter from President Obama, and it's addressed, Dear Mehran, signed President Obama. We released that paper too. And what we said, we send you a message of peace. You send us nothing but murder and killing, justifying it. This is the Oasis system.
Yeah.
This is the Oasis system, and this is exactly what we told you. It gives you shelter, it gives you light, and it tells you something very nice. This is the writing of Dirk Lorenz when he was a man of friends, and he's still a friend. One day he will change. Creating a proper place of comfort and dignity for everyone. You've seen how you can produce water. You see how you produce energy. This is the, can you bring it down a little bit? I'm a bit short man. A bit shorter. The water, the heat, the light, the food, and everything else you want. If you go up a little bit, please. And you see it in a symbolic way, we have given you the tent as a shelter. When you put a core in, you have everything. Nobody needs die of a hunger and live in the dirty conditions, which is forced by the richest nations in the world, by the richest nations who do not know what wealthy they are. The West has robbed the African and other nations of their wealth for them to have a payment road. Now, there will be no difference between European nations and African nations and the rest of the world. Because once you fly, you don't need the roads. Everything goes back to dirt track again. So Africa and Europe in 20 years' time will be exactly the same. Who wants a road when you can go everywhere? So you see the whole thing has come to roost. You see the whole structure is depending on a bead, which is a noose on the neck of the man. As I said before, yesterday, you have one which is gravity, you do wrong, you hang yourself, you give on the outer ring, you receive more, you give more. And this is what the conditions are. This is how the situation is and how you can change, very simple, by smart addition, a flying system. Do you think you can fly? Shall we bring in the hovering car in next Thursday? There are a number of people who achieved lift, but after what happened to Alex, they panicked that there might something go wrong with them. We will bring them out in time that, like Alex, they show how much you have missed so little that you cannot achieve. We have a number of people who have fully achieved lift. One or two can control it slightly. And we are waiting for them to come forward, not for us to bring them out. So you got to understand, today is 9th of July. those who are the followers of the Baha'i faith may know the significance of today. So you understand how things are spread. You can have, if you look at this system, it's the same as the battery. You have your energy supply, you have your conversion, and you have the direction. The rest is there. There is no difference between this and a battery. It's you who's got to decide how you use it. The earth has the energy supply inside it. The initial energy is inside. The source is the solar system. So it creates its own energy. Rotation, depending if it touches matter, heat, if it touches different matter, and liquid, if it's interacting in different conditions. You're not doing anything which is done by billions and billions of stars and moons and planets as what we are doing here. The source, this is your sun, this is your earth, and this is where you take your energy. It's exactly the same. It's the structure of the work of the universe in the container. You understand? Understood well. So now you decide how you use it to fly, to create heat, to create energy, and in so many ways, you're not using the lighting system during the day. No. You're not watching television 24 hours a day. No. That time, you can connect your system to a water supply, condensation unit, if you haven't learned how to create water, and you create as much water as you like. Because the energy is there, it will never finish. It will never end. If your plasma system ends energy, is the time when the sun loses its energy too. If it doesn't work, it means you've got something wrong. Otherwise, a GANS, state of a GANS, the number of suns you have put in your system will last for generations. Any questions? No questions? We call it a day.
Well, there's lots of comments in the live stream chat, but I'm trying to find an actual question.
Pardon?
There's lots of comments people are making amongst each other here in regards to your
Good ones or bad ones?
They're good ones, actually. Pretty much. It's.
Can we know the bad ones first?
Well, there's one person that earlier had a question about the starter motor, similar to the question that I had about it. As you mentioned with the car system, how the starter motor somehow gets involved with rotating the normal engine and keeping the drivetrain going and so on. And somebody had a comment about that the starter motor wasn't designed to turn at those kind of speeds, and it would wear out with the gears and so on to have it going all the time. So
you got to, let us answer this question. You got to understand a very simple principle. The starter motor does not work, even the engine does not work at the matter level, because you're feeding so much plasmatic in, everything works in a totally different strength. So it's just, in fact, I explained this before, that even the coils, the windings, the wires in the starter motor, they all become nano-coated outside due to the high flux of the plasma through the wire.
Can I try to add what I understand it? Because maybe it might enlighten somebody. I think of it like when you think of a matter state, think of it like running a high current down a small wire. The plasma state is, think of that wire as being superconductive. Right? There's no more heat generated from the interaction inside the wire.
Your engine will still run. You say, my motor is running, but I'm not using any fuel. Because the starter motor, even this is what I said, if you didn't understand, and if you were here last week, that the power generation goes back to the supply point to the nuclear power station. When you, if you were here last week, we explained in a simple way that we had a car. We have a car. You put a bead for the system here, and you put some CO2 or a gas in a fuel tank. This connects all the systems together. So you have a gas, you end up with a gas, and the system is locked in to a plasmatic condition. Doesn't matter how many engines you put in between. Because you look at the transmission belt, as I explained before, we look at interaction of the gas magnetic field, system magnetic field, and everything else here works in the gas state. It's as we said in the health section, if you've been there, if not, go and look. If this is your face and this is your nose, the minute you put food in your mouth, once enters the internal structure of the human body, it doesn't behave as a matter because the body of a man is a sausage made of all gases, so the material inside behaves as a gas and not matter. So that should be the answer to the questions. Are you okay? Sure. Coffee? Sure. It's Italy. No coffee, not being awake. So what's the next question?
Here's an interesting question for you, I think, from Paun Thakali. Can you subtract mag-grav fields instead of adding them?
Yes. You don't subtract it. You create a condition that they give to it. You create a magnetic gravitational field that they give you what they don't need. The example of it is 129 force. The system created a lot of plasma, and when the others need it, it took down. And then it goes back to, let's say, 10, and it builds up. So you took 129 from 139, so now it builds up. So you can do it. You have to create a condition of demand that the plasma creates supply, and that creates a reduction. Next question.
Okay, and
Hello,
we
Mr.
have, yeah, we have Renan here who would like to speak with you.
Yes, Mr. Cash.
Go ahead, Renan.
Correct. I have already found a company here in the Philippines who can manufacture the units. What will be our next step?
Pardon?
I have already found a factory that manufactures the energy units in our country. What will be our next step for the collaboration?
Nothing. Produce it yourself for your nation and make sure everything goes back. If you need, we send you a unit to produce it. We send you the blueprint free. And if you feel you would like to put something back from what you obtained, to the foundation that we can give more free units, you're quite welcome.
Okay,
We give
Mr.
you,
Cash. So we'll just
if you find a company, we don't give it to individuals because then creates a lot of problems. Individuals will create their own system. For mass production, if there is a company which can do it, we'll give the blueprint, we guide you, we tell you how to do it. It's not just a blueprint. You have to understand the whole structure of the setup. Then we have no problem. It's done free of charge. We don't want any contracts, no non-disclosure, nothing. It's a gift to your nation. If it's not to be
thank you, Mr.
abused.
I'll do my best.
Pardon?
Thank you, Mr. I'll do my best because I'll be talking with the owner of the company this coming Monday, and we'll be discussing things about how to build the system and being involved with the Cash Foundation. So I'll be
Contact through the website, through Webmaster. We do the due diligence. We have a couple of people in the back will do the checking. And if the management of the company are there, they understand what it is to benefit the nation, you transfer the blueprints of our work. You can make your own things because we do a different society.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's never been done this way. They don't even believe it. You give it to us free, yes, but don't abuse it. I saw something very nice yesterday. I was going home. I stopped at a fruit shop. I went in a fruit shop, and it's full, nothing but fruit. It's quite common here in Italy. Same with Iran. We have shops which only sell fruit. And few doors away, just a couple of doors away, there were two boxes on the floor, plums and peaches. And I thought, why fruit shop here, 10 meters away? The shopkeeper, instead of throwing the food away, he keeps his things. Whatever he thinks is good, but he cannot sell, he puts on the box. Local people who don't have food or don't have money, they come. They don't take the whole box. They take a few every day. So it's there for them to eat. Here in the village where we live. And I thought, it's the same as the guy in Saudi Arabia. You know what it is? We spoke about this. The guy puts a freezer outside his house. Whatever he buys that is not to be used, he leaves it in the freezer. He pays for electricity. So people go in there. They don't empty the freezer. They take every day because they know there is more tomorrow. They don't need to rob to empty it. So this is how it's going to be with this technology. We put so much out that people understand it's for everyone and it's not to be stolen. Any other question? Shall we call it a day? We have causing of revolution or evolution. Canadians are silent.
Yes, I like your saying.
Pardon?
I was going to say, I like your saying of evolution, not revolution. That's a good one.
Pardon?
Go ahead.
The process is how fast we can transfer this knowledge to the rest of the world population. As you've seen today, I don't go into the scientific detail. I go into the application of how easy it is. You don't need to understand the science, and the Cash Foundation students, knowledge seekers, supporters around the world, they have made enough videos, enough literature that you can make everything yourself. I made the first video of CO2 kit. I made the first videos of nanomaterials when we went to support Japan. If you go back on a Fukushima video we made and read the text of the TEPCO, which is released by IEA, you'll find a very nice similarity. And you know, TEPCO and the Japanese Prime Minister are there to steal from the nation. If you look, if you look at part of the video, there is a part where I put things in the water, like in the sand, and I put a magnet, like we create a magnet, and we pull the contamination out of the box. And because we said the material will stay as a residual at the bottom of the container. You take the clean water out, you have it, or you can pull it out. This is, you read the paper of TEPCO, they talk about the residual that they still have there. We have a report from Italian Atomic Energy Authorities, which we're going to release it very soon. They say the water carries and the rest contamination is in the sediment. So this is what two men with the luxury of supporting their nation have their loss, because TEPCO is a thief. TEPCO is the same structure as the Japanese government. That's why we're going to put an end to these governments who they put a life of a man. He risked his life so many times shipping things to Japan to save a nation. Now he's looking for a job to feed his child. And shame on the Prime Minister of Japan, who allows these thieving goals and is everywhere to sell arms. He's one of the first prime ministers should resign, because he does not deserve to be a leader who's a thief by nature, and the TEPCO follows his job. TEPCO writes in the paper, do you want to read it? We have it, a copy of it, that they have the residual at the bottom. We showed this residual a year ago. They came and they took all the materials. So TEPCO is using Keshe Foundation technology, and they hide it not to pay and make other people look bad. That's why we put everything back into Japan, for the director of TEPCO to resign and the Prime Minister of Japan to walk out of the office, because, as was said by Nixon, the buck stands here. It's he who made the decision to override atomic energy authorities to work with the Iranian nuclear physicists to help the country, and now they have to hide it. We demand the resignation of the Prime Minister of Japan for betraying his own nation and the rest of the world who helped them, because he doesn't deserve to be a Prime Minister. The technology is very clear. Their own report is very clear. We gave you a gift. Why do you steal a gift? Now we give the name. This is the same situation. Don't forget, we are in the same dilemma with Keshe Foundation. We gave the USB stick to the governments. What did they do with it? They didn't do it anywhere. They used it to make weapon technology, to advance destruction. And what we did, we gave it to you lot as a total humanity. We help you not understand it. There's everything in a patent. We do the same now. We gave the technology to TEPCO, to the Japanese government. They hid it, stealing it. Now we release units for every Japanese. If it means giving it free to them, we support them how to do the same job as TEPCO has done to clean Japan, and we give them the technology of the energy to support themselves, because they don't have energy supply enough. Was the church bell? Is it time to go? God has called. So now you see exactly. Go back on the paper released by IEA and TEPCO. What's the date on it? 27th of May? Excuse me. Can you put the camera there, please? Can you read it? Pardon? You need the mic. Okay, don't rush. I'll chat till you do. These are the papers. We are making a document to make a presentation how TEPCO has stolen a gift from the nation. Because if they come out and say, this is how we cleaned up platinum, this is how we clean cesium, this is how we clean tritium from the, the waters of the Fukushima, we show the technology which helped the rest of the nation to clean up all the mess. There is no need for all these sack of soils everywhere. So this is a stealing beyond imagination, a gift. So they stole again. Now we give it to the public. In the coming days, we produce systems. Even if it means shipping it to Japan, we'll give it to them. Because we have a huge following in Japan. All Japanese have to go to TEPCO and say, show us how it's done because you got it from Keshe Foundation. It's our right to help ourselves. We don't need to live in boxes because the land is contaminated. We can do it ourselves. It costs nothing to decontaminate a land for a farmer. It costs nothing, just some water. All it actually needs is that much gas and some water. And that's what TEPCO has done. They're hiding it from the nation to suffer, which is the responsibility of a prime minister, for a few to benefit, because do you know why? This system pays to companies like whatever associations, Mitsubishi or whatever, billions that the directors put in their private bank account. That's why. Because if it's free, we can't put in the bank account. Open the bank account of the Japanese directors of TEPCO and the rest of Mitsui and other ones. It's the second time they brought Mitsui to sort this out. Because the technology not only takes the CO2 in there, it captures the high calcium in the water. We know the capture of the calcium is in the report of SCK, is in the report of Italian Nuclear Center. We see it because the high calcium content does not allow the condition to carry on. But do you know why they are hiding it so much? Because we show them how to make gold. Now, 1,500 tanks will give them a lot of gold, and they don't want the nation to know. The managers will put it in the Swiss bank account. That's why. The minute we gave them all the details, I can show you the structure that they were told by email how to make gold from tritium. There was a problem with the situation. Now we are millionaires. They tested it, they knew it. This means the nation of Japan is getting deprived from the national asset into the Swiss banks. And it's all the directors of the TEPCO are going to eat it up. And the Prime Minister of Japan in his private account, most probably somewhere in the world. So now you want to know the truth? We didn't put it out. We invited the Japanese here to be here 1st of July. They didn't turn up because they got the key. Now they had to put a mess because they didn't know how to treat the tritium. We told them this is what it is. Now there was an excuse to mess it up that they could now. They tested it. Instantly, you produce gold from tritium. But I tell you something, this tritium is in a gangster state, guys. It needs a special condition to become a matter gold. You can't do anything even when you dry it. I have a trick up my sleeve all the time, don't I? You try to make a gold ring from it, and very soon you find the ring will fall to pieces. You can collect the gold. Unless you do a special treatment to it. So now you understand why TEPCO suddenly broke all the contacts and sacked all the directors, not to show. First of all, they don't want to transfer. Secondly, is the creation of huge amounts of gold, which was given to TEPCO to do it. The day we gave them how to make gold, the next day they knew it was all stopped. We have documents, we have emails, we have communications, and we have people we can put on a lying detector in public that they tell you how TEPCO done it, and how, as you were 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wasn't here, monitoring how TEPCO to do the job. So we give the technology to the government. The Prime Minister of Japan decides to steal from his nation, because now there is a reserve of gold which becomes more himself. This is what happened in, what do you call it? You've seen the video, the movie called The Five Kings about Iraq, how the soldiers found a lot of gold. Watch the movie. It's the same situation now in, I bet a lot of people are shuffling and shifting in Tokyo, in the government structure. How much of the gold is theirs? Because nation doesn't know. It didn't exist. There is no record of mining for it. This is what I told you months ago. I put as much gold as you like in the central bank of Libya that the British can go and rob. Not put more. Now, I've done it to show it with the Japanese government. Have you found it yet? It should be on the papers you've been writing. Where is TEPCO paper? Read the heading of the TEPCO paper. These guys are putting the paper together. Where is what's his name? Where is, I keep on forgetting his name. What's his name? Stanley. Is the Stanley online? Stanley, can you read the paper? You got it? It's on TEPCO paper. It says exactly what we explained a year ago in our video. So it is. And the strange thing is, for past 4 years, they haven't managed to sort it. The minute they had, the month they received it, the next month, they solved the problem. Too many coincidences. Impossible. It's the same story as Stephen Hawking and the publication of the creation of black hole. Too many date coincidences. It cannot be. And it's their request, show us how we can clean Stratonum. It's in emails from TEPCO. So we show them, they clean it, they report it. The problem is, no Atomic Energy Authority can work with the Iranian nuclear physicists, but we can steal the technology. You haven't stolen, we gave it to you as a gift. And this is the reason I asked the Iranian government to withdraw from negotiation. If you sign the peace negotiation with 5+1 on behalf of the Iranian nation, you have betrayed the nation because the sanctions are illegal for what is not worth signing for. Pardon? This is not a sanction, it's a bullying.
There's a question. Has the Keshe Foundation...
Can you just wait 1 second?
Okay.
We read you a paper, World Nuclear News, is released on 27th of May. Can you send this for... Rick, we send you the link. Can you put it up? Because this way we all read it. Send it to Rick, you can put it up. So Rick, who's putting the pictures up, Rick or Vince?
I can do it.
Rick.
You want to send me on Skype?
That one is the one you're looking for, I think. So he wants to send you another.
Nuke plant, and the quotation here is that
Okay, I'm sharing the screen here now.
B on Monday shows that levels of beta ray emitting radioactive substances such as strontium-90 only dropped to several tens of millions of becquerels from several hundreds millions of becquerels instead of decreasing to several hundreds becquerels.
Okay, put the second one.
So this was in March 18, 2014. They stopped their system.
Yeah.
And March 18, 2014. And 1 year later, when the cooperation started in July with TEPCO, they announced that milestone change.
Put it up. Put both papers up. Can you bring it down, please? Bring it down. No. We want to go to the top of the page. Top of the page. Top of the page. Top of the page. There it is. It's 27th of May 2015. This is done by Nuclear News. It says almost all the contaminated water stored on Fukushima Daiichi plant site in Japan has been treated to remove strontium and in some cases even more nuclear. Tokyo Electric Power, TEPCO announced today. If you go up, stop. No, go down a bit. Just one line you're missing. The company had originally planned to treat all contaminated water on the site by the end of March, but in January announced that it would need more time. It attributed the longer time frame to challenges of implementing new technologies to clean the water and the safety. And if you go and read in this paper, you go up, they tell you, just carry on. Somewhere in there, you see about the residual they have collected. Stop. It reads here, issues which needs to be treated again to further remove contaminants. Together, this accounts for 90% water stored at the site. So, and then at the bottom it tells you the remaining 3% of the water is that containing relatively high level of seawater containing some calcium and magnesium. They've used the Keshe Foundation technology. They have a residual. The calcium is what the system collects and attaches the platinum to. That's why they have high level of calcium. So there is no doubt the technology Keshe Foundation has proven worldwide usable, developed, and being put into action. And that's exactly what it tells you. People don't understand, but as the developers, we know what we've done. We know this is what we're looking. We showed this in a video of Fukushima a year ago, over a year ago. And it tells you the remaining 2% of water is contaminated calcium and magnesium. Because we know from the nuclear report of the Italian government, I can deliver you the emails that what we have. And in all my teachings, I told you this is what you're going to get. And now Fukushima confirms, TEPCO confirms you're correct, and it shows where they have stolen the technology from themselves, because it was a gift to the Japanese nation. Can you go to the next page? Did you send him the second? Rick, what do you call it? Rick, can you put this one up, second one? Okay, this is what we see. This is the Japanese news. It's a national TEPCO halts ALSP water cleanup system in Fukushima. Go a little bit up, further up. Stop. In June of 2004, to March 2014, a year ago. Yeah. TEPCO suspended water decontamination work with the other two systems, as well as two considering similar problems. So they stopped the process a year ago. They had no solution. In February of this year, they asked for help from us. We shipped materials. We started July last year.
We left the Sensano for holiday in
yes.
August. You have appointment with people with TEPCO. They
yes, let me explain to you what happened, then you understand. When the representative of the Japanese government, they came with the waters from Fukushima in their suitcases, I asked the knowledge seekers not to come in that day. There was a time of the holiday, so we said we are here. So we start collaboration with TEPCO last July. And then we have emails and we have videos, which is on the Skype, recorded on the Skype, where they show us with our material standing in front of the, Fukushima plant. We are here to deliver. And then they came back in February after testing, proven that they have seen changes. Can you now give us a solution for the stratinum? And in March, they completed it because they had it after they received. We can bring all this into public. As we don't patent, we give a gift. If it was any other organization, we take them to court, bring evidences. Our evidence is our technology has been used effectively, exactly the same way as we showed in Fukushima plant a year ago. So the proof of the pudding is not just energy, it's been applied in absorption of nuclear material effectively by Japanese government, by Japanese people. At least we managed to take some of it out, but you will find very soon, TEPCO will announce they have managed to clean all the cesium and tritium. The job of the Japanese people is to go and say, where is the share of our gold? Or, if you're a Japanese farmer, we send you the kit, follow our instruction within the next 2 or 3 months. You lost 10,000 euro, let's say, or $10,000 in past 2 years or whatever, but not farming. We give you enough gold from the land, from the contamination, that it compensates for your losses. So we show the Japanese farmers how to extract nuclear material and how to make gold out of it. I think that's a good deal for the Japanese. We don't ask anything for return. It's a gift from the foundation worldwide to you people who suffered enough. But you're in the hand of thieves and crooks who thought nobody knows how to bank. Let me explain to you what it's worth. Why the TEPCO management is in a run for stealing. 1,500 containers. We estimate, because we are the developers, it could be much more. We estimate 50 kilo of gold per block. $75,000 kilogram of gold. How much is a kilo of gold worth? $9,000. That's an ounce of it. Multiplied. Anybody calculator? Pardon? 45,000 a kilo. Okay. Multiply this by 45,000 is equal to, I just know the north. What is the 45 by 75? It runs into billions. Come on, you are the brainstones of the nation. 3,375. This is nearly $3.5 billion, which is trying to be stolen from a nation. Daylight robbery. That's why TEPCO hasn't kicked out the thing out. The management, with the authorization of the Prime Minister, are robbing a nation from 3.5 billion assets, most probably in the Swiss banks. So now you know, as the nationals of Japan, who you are dealing as a Prime Minister and a TEPCO head of. Because, strange enough, we have everything recorded, email, text. I read it to you. This has just come in. I haven't even opened it. I put it on the camera for you to read it. Very strange. Dear Mr. Cash, I'm sorry I could not get your phone call. I was at a long interview. The man has lost his job. He's looking for a job now. My Japanese number, but I'm returning back. This is a man who helped. Now he's looking for a job to feed his child. And it's come just now at 10:45 this morning. This is strange. Just sorry, I have to make a call to follow this up. I'll tell you, I'll call you in a minute. Just carry on for 2 seconds. Ah, yeah, you're a good idea. It's something very urgent. I have to see.
Okay, well, we can carry on here, I guess. Just trying to see if there's any other questions that can be addressed. There was a question.
Hello, Rick. There is a question here. Is it possible to get design of the T-shirt with the Spaceship Institute logo on it?
That's a good question. It's the best question I've heard in a while. I'm interested in the answer.
Knowledge seekers here would like to have this T-shirt, and if you know who has designed this logo, is it possible to send it to us that we can print it here in Italy?
I believe that's already been set up with the logo and so on. It's supposed those shirts were. We had the contest in the forum to decide which T-shirt had the best design, and they were supposed to get printed up, I thought.
Yeah, we just need these designs. Anyway, if we go back to this Fukushima decontamination, the article that you put on the web on the Zoom a few minutes ago, in that article, you can read it that Tokyo Electric Power Corporation halted the operation of all 3 advanced radioactive water cleanup systems, collectively called Advanced Liquid Processing System, or ALPS, at Fukushima #1 nuclear plant on Tuesday. So this was published on March 18, 2014. They stopped their cleanup systems. And you can read over there, water samples from System B on Monday showed that levels of beta ray emitting radioactive substances such as strontium-19 only dropped to several tens of millions of becquerels from several hundred millions becquerels, instead of decreasing to several hundred becquerels. So that's the reason why they stopped their cleanup systems. And then in July 2014, cooperation started with Cash Foundation, and I remember very clearly in the end of July when people from TEPCO were coming to SSI Center in the Sensano when we were last year. So from there on, we were producing different materials and sending them to Japan to test it. In September, October, I know that we sent several times these materials to Japan, and I believe it was in December or late November. The guys from Japan again came to the Sensano, and they picked up certain materials. So, and then we see the end report in the May 2015, about a year ago. Completely different story. They achieved the cleanup, and so it's very interesting how this these data are in line with cooperation of Keshe Foundation and TEPCO. So I hope we will be able to make this document with all the correspondence.
Yeah, it's very strange is that
when
that's the man who helped Japan is out of job, and they put him on the street. And strange enough, we have so much communication with him that he nearly even lost his life once trying to do the job. He has to go for an interview. One of the most competent men I've known, one of the most devoted men I've known to a nation, to a company, and TEPCO has to betray him. Because do you know why? Not only that, they were supposed to pay the company $360 million as payment to produce the materials. They saw the Keshe Foundation videos, they produced the material, so there was no need to pay. Betrayal is not on only 3.5 million. The betrayal sits at 360 million not to pay to. So it's a total collaboration in TEPCO with the full knowledge of the Office of the Prime Minister. Because TEPCO cannot work with the Iranian nuclear physicists under no circumstances. It's an international boycott. My name sits at the highest level to be boycotted as a senior Iranian nuclear physicist because there is a boycott. For a long time, the member of certain management of TEPCO, they said he has to come in because he knows how to do it. So they set a plan, and strange enough, the same man who I just read his text, the day of the report was called back to the United States, and they put his wife and his child in prison that he goes back. That he's not present in the report reading, and they only could take notes. All these are detailed. So people are paying for the greed of a prime minister and the management of TEPCO, and they have solved the problem in Fukushima plant. They haven't solved the problem in all the sacks and all the farms. It has to be done by nationals. It has to be done by the people. And the reward of it is, do you remember the gold rush in America? Everybody went to America to find gold. Now, if I was you, run to Japan because the fields are full of gold. All you need to do is to mix a little bit, and we show you what you have to mix in which way, and you wash gold off. These two guys here, they have made most of the material to go to TEPCO. Correct? These two guys have spent a lot of time making things, making sure it goes in. Even the machines we had, we sent to TEPCO that they can use it, even though it stops us from using our other reactors. Correct? So it's not just a talk. We work as a team. Everything goes in that way. And when it comes to the government level, we work and we deliver what we said. So now you see there is a question of $3.5 billion of stealing national assets. And these kind of money is not stolen by the cleaners and the sweepers and the drivers of TEPCO. These kind of money, this kind of material is transported into central banks when there is no receipt for it because Japan does not produce any gold, so if any gold comes in, it has to be certified. What hasn't come in cannot go out. So what goes out, nobody knows. So this is a clear indication, break of international quota in working with the Iranian scientists through the back door. The banks have been punished heavily, millions of dollars, if they had a proxy account that Iran could use. We know Barclays paid tens of millions penalties. SWIFT, they paid, they arranged it without them knowing. Now, they have managed to obtain technology from Iranian nuclear physicists against the international sanctions, and then they still sack a man who organized it. So how does IAEA answer to another break by TEPCO? They use plutonium in reactor number 1. As a scientist, nuclear physicist, I proved it to be correct. Blind eye. Now they do the second move, blind eye. But the problem is, we will not stop supporting the Japanese government and the Japanese people just because of some crooks in the structure. As I said yesterday, Mr. Hui has written on the Chinese Keshe Foundation and a recording part of my voice that we need 500,000 for development because he promised us millions. He will send the students here. He puts it then, you see, Keshe is a thief, he wants 500,000. He doesn't put the rest that he organized a company. You have 49%. I donate everything to your company, to the foundation, for the good of the Chinese. And then what I did, I wrote to him, Mr. Hui, your betray is your conduct, not mine, but I still give you the blueprints because I don't consider you. It goes to help the Chinese nation. This comes at every level. A man who came here pretending to be a friend is nothing but another guy in the whole structure. President to the sweeper, when they see money, they lose themselves. So, any other question? You're happy. Thank you very much for today. And hopefully we'll see what we can do and where we can go. What's the next step for us? Today is this afternoon session. It'll be headed by knowledge seekers. I'm not here. It's the second workshop. You do it for yourself. And the same for tomorrow. Because now you have to start sharing knowledge to start teaching. We need a large number of teachers for Africa. If you start sorting out the problem, understanding the basic, when next couple of weeks we bring African nations, you can teach them to develop these technologies for themselves. They don't wait for a handout of a unit from Keshe Foundation in Italy. Thank you very much. Thanks for today.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that ends the 69th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Thursday, July 9th, 2015. And we'll restart the afternoon session here, I believe at 2 p.m. CET. Okay, thank you everybody for attending.